Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of Modern Mystics with me and Nicolas.
Hi everyone.
I thought I might start off talking about this insight with apathy I had recently. And I don't know how many of you watched the show that I had with Jason where he was a guest on the show, but when we had our talk, he was basically saying, you have to keep those rockets firing. And so I feel like my rockets have been firing, have really been firing for a long time. And then yesterday, all of a sudden, it's like this strong apathy just kind of like came over, like a blanket, and I was just like starting to go to sleep and starting to feel angry, and because the anger usually comes with the apathy. And then it was interesting because I didn't know like what was going on, and so we have our mighty companions around us. So I had this joining with Diana Markin, and she's one of the ones that lives at the center here. And basically when I joined with her, she said, the apathy, it's not what you think it is. It's like you really just need to communicate something. Like there's probably something you need to communicate. And I was like, okay, interesting. And it's like there's these areas that are given by the spirit, and one of them is like something called overseers, which is like a communication function basically with like a group of us in the community. So she was like, maybe there's something you need to communicate with them, and maybe there's like some kind of inspiration that's really coming up strong, but you're not communicating it. So there's like this block coming up, and then the apathy kind of comes over, and then the anger comes in because there's like compromise and this and that, and it just reminds me too, because actually I'll come back to this, but I went and I made my communications, and I started to already feel like a lot better. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why a lot of our shows recently have been about communication, because for me, and I know you too, like it's been like a strong like healing theme. So I did what the only body's purpose is for communication, and I already started to feel a lot better. And I did so many communications, and every single time it just felt better and better. And I just shared my inspiration, which part of it seemed to do with like feeling a draw towards Mexico, and maybe like a big expansive opportunity there to keep the rockets going. Because that's what I really want. Like I just want to keep the rockets blasting like 24/7. Like I love when David would say in his talks like, I was so fully used like all day by the spirit, and then at the end it's like feels so good. Like it's like end of the day, just take a rest, and then it's just like 24/7 like rockets blasting. Like I feel like that's what I really need right now, like for my mind, and that's what I really want to be in, like 24/7, like just rockets blasting, being done through, no room, no space, no time for any like ego thoughts or getting or any kind of like apathy. Actually, like I don't want to have any space for apathy, like any room for that. I just want to like fully rockets blasting, be in my inspiration like 24/7. Day feels complete, it's like that kind of feeling, like literally no room at all for the ego to come in. That's the kind of thing that I feel really inspired by right now. And so I was just sharing that inspiration with everyone, and then it was so cool because this morning, I've had a lot of control with sleep too. And Jason reminded me, it's like your trifecta of healing right now. It feels like it's like control, apathy, and sleep. So the sleep thing has been like one of those trifecta parts or whatever. So I was just communicating all last night, and then I woke up this morning like before my alarm, which is pretty unusual for me because, the whole sleep healing. So I woke up before my alarm, and then I heard get up and join. And it was nice because this morning I felt excited when I woke up. I didn't feel anger, which a lot of times it's like, oh, I'm so tired, anger, blah, 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 that old story. So it was really refreshing and nice. So I just got up and was get up and join, and I just heard Jason, from Jason Warwick, and I heard to call him. So yeah, I went and I called him, and I just shared the inspiration again with him, and then I shared with one more person. Just keep communicating, just keep with the rockets firing kind of thing. And that felt really nice, and he's like, okay, yeah, I'm going to share your inspirations with some others today, like Lisa, and we'll see what happens. And it just felt really good to be in that like stream of communication, to keep that kind of flow going. And then just seeing, it feels really inspiring too, that it's like I don't know what the apathy is ever really about. But just seeing that recently, it's like when that anger and that apathy comes in, it's really like a prompt, like some kind of guidance from the Holy Spirit. Hey, like, do this, And like, that's all it really is. It doesn't mean anything else. But the ego wants to say, oh, the most common excuse when I would feel that apathy from the ego would be like, yeah, there's something you need to get. Like, you need to get, like, sex. You need to eat something, you need to, like, whatever. It's like the ego's always like pointing to the form, that's the answer. And even I had a miracle with Jessica, and so we were just connecting about like her shop. Like, she goes on the shop like once a week, for groceries and household items, and we just connected before she left, and we're thinking, okay, you have everything, you have this, okay, sounds good, yeah, I think you're good to go. And then we both felt like, okay, ready to go. And then she leaves and I stay, and she went on the shop. And then like 10 minutes later, I was starting to feel so angry. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I had no idea why. I was just like, I was just working on a project or something, and it had nothing to do with the project. So I was literally scanning my mind for like all areas of my mind. Like, is it this project, this one? Is it the milkshake I'm drinking? It's like literally every possibility to see what is it that's making me so angry. And I just started journaling, because, journaling is such a helpful tool as well. I just wrote like, what is it? Like, I was so mad. Like, what is it? Tell me. And then I just paused and started meditating, and I just remembered, oh, Jessica didn't take the credit card. And I was like, oh my God. And then I started calling her, and she wasn't picking up. But then, like a few minutes later, I just saw her drive back into the driveway. I was like, oh wow, okay, that was fast. And she said, yeah, I was driving, and I didn't even see her messages or calls, but I just heard a credit card. And so I turned around. I was like, oh, okay, great. And then we're like, okay, next time maybe we'll have like a checklist before you leave the house. Make sure you have everything before you go. And then the anger just went away. Like, it's amazing. It's almost like, the anger was really just pointing to like, hey, listen, there's a prompt. There's something that's going to make you happy. And if you don't follow that, you're compromising on your own happiness. So you're angry at yourself for not following the guidance. And really all salvation is practically listen and follow to the Holy Spirit, follow that guidance, and He's going to pull you through the healing. Like, He's the one that's going to do the healing. So it's like, it's that simple, really.
Yeah, that's pretty cool that you guys both heard the same thing. That's really what guidance is about. It's not your Holy Spirit, her Holy Spirit, their Holy Spirit. It's like there's one Holy Spirit. And you guys like both tuned in and, followed your prompts. You called her, she came back, through following her own prompt. And that's just actually really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like years ago I would have thought like, that's like, either that's a coincidence or you're making that up or that's fake or.
Yeah. It's funny because it just happens over and over when we give our full yes and follow the Holy Spirit. It's like happens over and over that it's part of the convincing job. It's like, wow, like miracles. We can expect miracles every day. And it's like follow the, it's like follow the guidance, like follow that connection. And it's like we don't know what the guidance is ever going to look like. And I just remember the other night, I've been feeling like this really strong like connection with Carolina and like this like deep love and connection. And we were having a call, and it was a very brief call, like 5-10 minutes, and at the end of it we just kind of like sunk into this like mystical experience. Like it actually felt really powerful. I was like, whoa, like it was amazing. And yeah, so when I went to sleep though, it's like I had all these crazy dreams that I shared with Jeffrey. And it's like my mind rushed back into darkness because it was scared of that light. And I had these crazy dreams about the past relationships and this and that coming back. And then I shared it with Jeffrey, and he just helped me see like, all that happened was your mind's rushing back to darkness, which in the Course it says like you're going to go towards the light, then you're going to rush back, and then you're going to go towards rush back. And that's fine until like the fear is released. So even like, that felt like it was part of that inspiration. It's like, okay, it's like, I don't know, love's calling, or like, just following that guidance and just saying where's the connection, where's the pull, where's the prompt, where are you being led to, and just follow that connection basically. Because it's like certain ones that we don't even know why we feel a connection towards them, but intuitively it's like Holy Spirit's like, this is for your healing. Like there's a bigger plan. You don't know really what's going on, and you don't know how to heal yourself because you can't. So all you can do is listen and follow. Like again, Jeffrey shared this quote with me. I think it was from 12 Steps, not totally sure, but it was this quote like, I can't, he can, I think I'll let him, which was really nice because control was a big part of my healing. So when he told me that, I was like, wow, I'm just going to remember this every time I feel some kind of like control, or like I want something my way, or I'm going to try to, if I think I can control this awakening, that I just need to remind myself like, I can't do it. Like I don't know the plan. I can't heal my mind. I can't even know what's inspiring in form, really. He can, so I think I'll let him. It's like divine logic or something, or it's like common sense. Jason always says guidance is common sense. Like the more, the more I'm seeing it, it's like the more it's being like very obvious that wow, this is really all just like common sense.
Right. I feel like it becomes more common sense, like with like purification of mind, because if your emotions are all like filled up and there's a lot of repressed emotions and everything, then right-mindedness may actually not seem that logical, or it wouldn't really make sense. It wouldn't feel like common sense, but it's funny. That's actually what it really starts to feel like. Isn't that common sense? That's just the experience we start to have the more we follow. Like I was hearing right before this show, I was sharing this with you, I was hearing in my mind just the secret to happiness. It's not a big secret. Do you want to know?
Yes.
Are you ready? Very simple. Are you willing to be wrong about everything? That's the secret to happiness. Anytime you're angry, it's because you think you're right about something. Anytime, unhappy, bored, anything, it's because you think you're right. There's something, you're having this, what would, through A Course in Miracles be called an attack thought. You're attacking what is. Anytime you think something should be different than what is, you're having an attack thought. You're attacking, perception. You want things to be different than they are, and there's no peace, love, or joy in any of that. So it's like, would you rather be happy or wrong? Which, very simple.
Right. Happy or right.
Right.
Yeah.
Happier. Happy and wrong. Yeah. It's funny. That's more the quote. That's what I was hearing in my mind, and if you really think about it, it's common sense. But when you're in the anger, it's like the mind is just justifying it all, and it's just, it's like, no, like I'm right about this, and I was victimized, and blah 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 blah. Ego trash talk.
Yeah, and I feel like it takes trust in those moments too. And the great thing is too that, when you surround yourself with mighty companions with the same purpose as you, it's like a direction can come in from a brother when we don't feel clear ourselves that can start leading you in that right direction. Again, when that anger comes in, it's just like yesterday when I was feeling the apathy or whatever, and I didn't know like what the way out was. And it's like I had already set a time that I was going to meet with Diana. And even intuitively, I knew this isn't going to be about what I think it's about when I join with her, because it never is. And it's always, something deeper. And so I feel like, another thing Jason said too was, I remember he said, when we don't feel that great and a direction comes in and then we get mad at it, it's almost like, when we don't feel that great, that's the time when we can accept any direction, because clearly what we're doing isn't working.
Right.
So if something's coming from a brother, we can just trust, okay, well, what I'm doing isn't working. I don't feel that great. So maybe I should just trust that this is the Holy Spirit guiding me out of where my mind is at. And I feel like, yesterday was a good example of that, because I didn't know like where to go, what is this, and then that joining with Diana like really brought something that I completely wasn't expecting, was even in my mind, like this inspiration. I didn't know it was so strong yesterday to share it, that I needed to share it, but and that like pulled me out of it, and haven't felt any apathy since then. So it's like, feels like that's part of the rockets blasting thing. Like, just keep your rockets fired. It's like follow the breadcrumbs, that fairy tale. I don't remember the name, but
Hansel and Gretel.
yeah, it's like just follow the breadcrumbs. It's like what, and if we don't feel clear ourselves, then we can trust that the breadcrumbs have been laid out by our brothers, and when we feel happy, it's still gonna be signs coming in from, it could be any direction, a brother or prompt within, or it's all within, but really it can come from anywhere, the guidance.
Yeah, I like what you said about just following, like anything, just some sort of movement when whatever you're doing is, and you can recognize that you're unhappy. It's like, at this point you're just wrong, like you're in wrong-mindedness because you're unhappy. And so anything you could do, really, in some sense or another, like from a trusted brother who's, like you were saying, mighty companion, is going to be helpful.
Yeah.
Because of where it's coming from. A trusted brother is like in this prayer of like being there only to be truly helpful. So it's, I like that actually.
Yeah, it's almost like we have to keep moving, It's like no matter what, just keep moving. Like that's what another thing Jason said on the last show, not last show, but one of the shows. He said, it's like you can't direct a bicycle that's not being pedaled, basically, that's not being moved. It's like you have to keep moving, and then you have the energy to start directing it in the right direction. Because I know for me, like when an apathy comes in, it's very tempting to start staring at walls or or stuff like that.
You said something like you could easily stare at a wall for like an hour. I was like,
yeah,
what?
when that apathy comes in, it's like it's just zone out, unconscious deadness, nothingness. So it's like that's when really it's like we need to start moving now. Doesn't matter what direction.
Red alert.
Just start pedaling. Any direction will redirect that bike, but we need to start moving when you start staring at walls. So
Right, that's the red flag.
when you start like zoning out, or like start daydreaming, or start thinking about the future or the past, or start thinking about getting things to meet lack and needs, anything like that, you need to start moving, like in another direction, see what the guidance is, and then you can at least feel it out. Like I remember in high school, it was insanity. Like we would like a group of friends, we'd all meet at one of our houses.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah,
then we'd be like, okay, what do we want to do tonight? That was an absolute nightmare because it was like, okay, yeah, maybe we should go to, Rio. Let's go to Rio. Or, no, maybe we should go to the movie. And then there would be like 10 ideas, but no one's moving in any direction.
we would literally spend like entire nights actually not leaving the room. Oh, okay, now it's too late to do anything.
Yeah,
Let's
exactly.
just go.
Over and over and over, like Groundhog Day, like no decisions, no movement. It was like a bunch of ideas tossed in the air and then no initiative. It's like, yeah, oh, yep, too late. Okay, just another day of not doing anything. Like basically this apathy. So I remember I went on a nice walk with Zach over here, and we were just practicing that together. And I was like, okay, let's go to the store. And we just went in the gas station, and it's like, okay, just keep moving. Don't because me and Zach both said that we had this thing, it's like analysis paralysis or whatever, like in the grocery store or in the convenience store where you just freeze and you're like, okay, what do I get? Like, is this what I want? Is this what I want? But it's like, no, just keep moving. Don't stop. And just then you can redirect that bike. But when you start like freezing in that analysis or whatever, that apathy, then nothing happens. And it's so much more fun. Like me and Zach, we just kept moving. We found whatever we needed real quick. We reminded each other like, okay, keep moving. And then it was just, you could feel like the spirit was driving the whole thing as long as we just kept moving in a direction. So that was really fun.
That's funny because I was just reminded that I've been having this prompt in my mind for like very long, but I haven't been following it consistently, where I've been hearing that I need to be clear before I go into the kitchen, or actually before I go into any restaurant. It's like I need to set the goal, because every time I go in, I open the fridge, no. I open the cupboard, no. But every time it has flowed, and I had like a span of weeks where it was just feeling really clear and like inspired meals were coming out of me. But lately I've fallen back into a pattern where I haven't been feeling so clear. And so I'd walk in the kitchen and it's like just this unclarity, like I could eat that, but I could make that, but it's like, and I waste like 20 minutes or so, in total. Because I would make several trips, because I would say, okay, I'm not clear. So I'd leave the kitchen, come back a little later. I'm not clear yet. Okay, come back. But really, it's like, okay, it's like, what do I want? That's actually such a deep question. Like, it's a very powerful question, just being clear on what you want. Okay, do you even want to eat? Is it even helpful to eat? Okay, good. Now, like, if you could eat, like, anything, even just allowing yourself, just open it up.
Yeah.
Like, what would you eat?
Yeah.
Boom. Go from there. Like, let it be inspiring. And actually, I was doing that for several weeks. And it was fun. I had, like, really fun meals. I was actually making, like, bacon every meal. And it was so much fun for me. And it was just, like, burritos, fried rice, just all these things that if you're a health practitioner, this may shock you. Everything, like, bacon, grease, throw on some butter. But I felt so good because it's all about the guidance. It's all about the inspiration. It actually has nothing to do with really, nutritional rules. If you're guided that way, like, kale, just all greens, raw vegan. If you're guided that way, that's actually what will be best for you. But it's got to be about the guidance. There's not really a cookie cutter about any of that. But I've just been seeing my mind. It's like, because actually every time I go into a restaurant, it's the same thing. I'm like, like this indecisiveness comes up really strong. Because I'm like, I don't want to make the wrong choice here.
Yeah. And it's funny because the Holy Spirit even, gives you a nice boost, because the inspiration came in recently where Jessica labeled one of the shelves, please eat first. Yeah. Please eat these items first. And then she labeled it. So it's like, the Holy Spirit's like, don't worry, I got you. We'll make things a little easier. Yeah. Here's a shelf. Eat this first, kind of thing.
Totally. Yeah. All, like, when the prayer is there, everything is answered by it. Yeah, it's been really fun. It's that whole Mr. Nobody, like, the issue is choice. It's like this thought that, you can make the right decision or you can make the wrong decision. It's like, ooh.
Inform, like
Inform.
as if it's like actually a full
As if it's actually
decision.
like a real decision. It's more like what we see in A Course in Miracles, where it's like, of all these illusions, which do I prefer? It's like they're all false. None of them are helpful in and of themselves. It's all about basically the purpose that's given or the guidance that's followed. That's their only helpfulness. Symbols are symbols,
Yeah.
Green paper strips, metal coins, it's like, it's the purpose behind them that actually is what either heals your mind or keeps you stuck. So just trying to be reminded of that myself, because even that reminder of like the secret to happiness, I was like, just feeling really angry and annoyed this morning and last night, just really around expectation and basically wanting things to be different, and just different egoic recipes. And I was just like praying, okay, what's the miracle here? Like, how do I move through this? Like, and that's just when we sat down here before the show, I was hearing the secret to happiness. Are you willing to be wrong about everything? And if you're not, that's fine. But if you want to be happy, it's going to require you to be wrong, to admit that you were mistaken, that you do not know what is most helpful in this situation or really any situation. I can't, he can. I think I'll let him.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like, if we're not happy, then clearly why would we continue to want to be right about things if we're not happy right now? Because the decisions we made in our mind have seemed to lead us to this unhappiness. So it's like being wrong about it gives some open space to the Holy Spirit to come in and redirect things. But yeah, that's why it's like one of the characteristics of God's teachers is like open-mindedness, because that's so important in order to follow guidance.
Right. I don't know, I just had this, I don't know if it's even a good like metaphor analogy, but like it's like when you're in your wrong mind, it's like you're on fire or something, or you've caught like a hot potato. And really, it's like guidance is like where to move that hot potato, or to like, maybe we'll go with hot potato than rather being on fire. That feels better. But it's like you got this hot potato and it's burning your hand. It's like, it's not doing you any good. But you just have this thought of like, well, I'm right about this. I'm just going to keep pulling on. Yet the Spirit's like, no, put it over here. Like, let me help you. Just put the hot potato, stop burning your hand, put it over here. But you're like, no, see, if they hadn't passed me the hot potato, I'm just going to keep holding on to it till I really look like a victim here. Yeah. It gives us something, it gives us some sort of satisfaction. It's really dark and it's sick, but, there's like an addiction deep in the mind, and we have to be gentle with ourselves in that. It's been like reconditioned over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. That, in some way, shape, or form, we get some sort of pleasure out of being in pain. And there's like a confusion of, I think we've talked about this so many shows in a row. Exactly. And I think that's really why. There's such a deep confusion of pain and joy. And so, it's like there's got to be a prayer to be shown what joy really is, or to be shown that we don't want to be in pain anymore. But, it's like we'll never be coerced. It's got to come from it's got to come from within. Like, I want to see this different. I mean, I feel like that's the only way this path has gone for me. Really, I feel like every opening or every big step I've taken in my life, like in this journey, has actually been through like some sort of realization in the moment, or I don't really know how to describe it, but it's like this opening where it was all like this pain, and I was just like, I really could see in that moment I had no other choice. Like I didn't have a choice. It's either this or nothing, really. So it's like every time I've gotten to that place in my mind, like that's been the opening. That's been the miracle. That's been the gateway. Through that realization that there is no alternative. There is only this choice. But I've had to come to it. I couldn't have been coerced each time.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel pretty good with.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to share?
Yeah, maybe we can just take a moment.
Yeah.
Be in prayer.
You can meditate with us.
Yeah, I feel like I just wanted to share a prayer that, yeah, I feel like my prayer right now is just to be shown that yeah, I just feel like I want to be shown every day, today, each day, that, there is no sacrifice and that healing is what I want. The healing of my mind is what I want. I want to feel that deep desire. I want to feel that there is no alternative to joy. Like, that really is the only option. Just to be happy authentically. And yeah, I want to feel it deeply in my heart, and I want to feel the commitment to that. I want to feel the deep desire for that. Yeah, I want to be convinced by the Spirit deeply. So bring it on, Holy Spirit. I need it.
Yeah. My prayer is just want to be so fully used, like keep the rockets firing. I know I keep saying that, but like keep the rockets blasting like all day, 24/7, and really just be fully done through with the communication and yeah, to really fully accept whatever the means are for healing my mind, and to just be in my inspiration and my full joy all the time, and have no room for apathy at all. Yeah. Yeah, so I join you in that bring it on. Rocket Man.
Rocket Man.
Maybe we'll blast off now. Yeah, maybe you can fade us out as we're blasting off.
Yeah, blasting off. I just somehow I just want to go like that. So